At the time of recording, I have visited 42 countries so far, and as you can imagine, when you travel you make mistakes, you live, you learn. And so what I wanted to do in today's video is share with you 10 big travel mistakes that I think you need to avoid when you do travel. And there's going to be a bonus mistake at the end as well, so do stick around to the end of the video for this bonus kind of mistake. Now, before we go into these 10 mistakes, do feel free to let me know some of your travel mistakes in the comments. Do drop a comment, tell us some of your travel stories where you've maybe made a big mistake. Firstly, just because I am interested to see some of your travel stories, but also because it will be helpful for other viewers to see some of your mistakes so that they can learn from your mistakes and not make those mistakes themselves. It will be interesting if you do let me know some of your stories. So without further ado, let's get into the 10 big mistakes you should never make when you travel. And the first mistake is traveling to a destination at the wrong time of the year. It's actually amazing how visiting a destination at different times of the year can really impact your experience. So I do think it's important that you do your research and find out the best times of the year to visit a particular destination that you have in mind. I guess a good example of this would be the Greek islands. You don't want to be visiting the Greek islands in the winter months because everything's going to be closed. There's going to be nothing open. Whereas if you go in the summer months, everything will be open. Yes, it's going to be more expensive and more pricey, but going during off season just isn't worth it. Now, in some destinations, for example in Germany or Austria, you may want to go during the winter months because you have the Christmas market. So you may want to plan your trip around particular times of the year or particular events. So for example, you have the Day of the Dead festival in Mexico, which is a really big event to go to that you may wish to go to. A bit of a lesser known example, I went to Norway during the Constitution Day in May, and that's probably a really good time to visit Oslo, for example, because other times of the year Oslo may be a bit boring, but on Constitution Day it's very vibrant, as you can see here. Everyone's out about celebrating, so it's a really good time to visit Oslo, for example. So planning your trip around certain events is something that I recommend. But of course, you do certainly save money by visiting destinations during off season. Places like Italy, Spain, France, London, I think these are actually really good destinations to visit during off season, because these places for me are all year round destinations. Maybe not the beach destinations, but definitely places like Madrid, Barcelona, Rome. For me, these are all year round destinations with tourist attractions that can keep you occupied throughout the entire 12 months of the year. And also something else to bear in mind if you are maybe a student traveller or a younger traveller looking to meet fellow young people, maybe at university towns like Salamanca in Spain or Bologna in Italy or Cordoba in Argentina, definitely make sure you research university term dates, because you don't want to be visiting these university towns during the holiday months because there'll be no one there to meet. So it's really important that you do your research on every destination you go to and kind of ascertain good times of the year to visit. But I would say for the world's best destinations, it generally really doesn't matter when you visit. You can save money going during off season. Now, carrying on with this theme of not doing your research before you visit somewhere, I think the second big mistake that many travelers make is not doing their research in terms of the best neighborhoods of a city to stay. Now, this is really in particular if you're going to bigger cities. You really do need to do your research and find out where the best neighborhoods are in that city to stay. Now, the best neighborhood of a city for one person may be completely different to the best neighborhood of a city for another person. So you really do need to think about the kind of interest you have and where you want to stay within a city. So for example, do you want to stay in a more residential, quiet area of the city? Or do you want to stay in somewhere really vibrant with lots of bars and nightlife going on? Now, of course, regardless of what your interests are, you do want to make sure that you are staying in a relatively safe neighborhood of a city. So it's really important, especially if you're going to a big city in Latin America or one of the big European cities, make sure that you are staying in somewhere that is known to be a relatively safe area of the city. Generally speaking, the old town of a city in Europe is generally the best place to stay, and it's pretty safe. Whereas actually many old towns in Latin America, many of the colonial old towns, are actually a bit sketchy and dangerous sometimes. So again, it's really important you do your research and you know the best and safest neighborhoods of the city that you plan to stay in. Now then, moving on to my third big mistake of traveling, and this is a mistake that is more likely to occur with inexperienced travelers. So this is something that I used to do when I was a bit more inexperienced. Don't think the bigger the city, the more things to do there are in that city. I used to have the opinion that if city A is bigger than city B, then it means that I need to spend more time in city A than city B, because city A is bigger, so there's probably going to be more things to do. And that is just not always true. Again, it really does come down to doing your research and researching the activities to do in a city before you actually visit a city. So a good example of this may be Barcelona versus Madrid, because Madrid is by population a bigger city than Barcelona. And yet, from a tourist perspective, Barcelona does have more tourist activities than Madrid. So actually, you probably do need to spend more time in Barcelona to get done all of the activities there possible, compared with Madrid, where there are not as many tourist activities to do than Barcelona. Now, for me personally, I have not been to places like Manila or Jakarta yet, but I have heard that these places again are big cities with not really much to do from a tourist perspective. So bigger doesn't mean more things to do, bigger doesn't mean more vibrant, bigger doesn't mean a better food scene, bigger doesn't mean more nightlife. So in essence, bigger is not always better in terms of travel. Now, moving on to the fourth big mistake that I have made during traveling and many other people make sure that you do not forget to get a VPN when you travel. So VPN stands for virtual private network, and when you activate a VPN plan or purchase one, what it allows you to do on your devices is it allows you to change the location, or more specifically the virtual location of your devices, away from your real location to another location around the world. So why is this important when you travel? Well, if you do want to watch TV series or movies or access books that are banned in the country that you are currently in but are available in, for example, your home country, a VPN allowing you to change the location of your device will then allow you to access that content that is banned in the country that you're traveling in but available, for example, in your home country or another country. Now, you may be wondering, if you change the virtual location or network of your device, does that leave you open for potential hackers to access your device? Well, the good news about using certain VPNs is that certain VPNs do block out any kind of malware or viruses that these networks may have, and they protect your devices. Now, if you want to use the VPN provider that I'm currently using, just go below to the description and also the comment section. It will be both in the description and the comment section. There'll be a link to where you can access the VPN provider that I use, which is NordVPN. Click on that link and you can have a little look and see if you are interested in purchasing their plans. Now, there are other VPN providers that you could use, but the great thing about NordVPN is that they are renowned for having the fastest connectivity of any of the major VPN providers, which is really useful because if you are in a foreign country, then you do want to have fast connection, and some of these other VPN providers don't give you very fast connection at all. So Nord gives you fast connection, and also it scans for viruses and malware, and some other VPNs do not. So I do recommend Nord. Again, the link is below in the description and the comment section, and it's very useful for me because NordVPN allows me to continue a side hustle that I do to make money online whilst I travel. Now, this side hustle is called matched betting. Now, the thing is that in some countries, the websites that I need to use to do this side hustle to make money online whilst I'm traveling are banned. So the great thing about a VPN is I can change the location of my phone to the UK, for example, and access the websites that I need to make money through matched betting. Now, if you are interested in starting this side hustle and learning how to do it, again, the link is below to a website called Oddsmonkey, which teaches you step by step how to make money online through matched betting. Just to make it very clear, it's not gambling at all. You are not gambling. You're actually betting on both sides of an event, which actually means you can activate free bets and make money from it, and it teaches you step by step through video guides how to do that. So do consider signing up to Oddsmonkey. Again, the link is below if you are interested. So now then, moving on to the fifth big travel mistake that I think many people make. It is a mistake that I have made a few times before, and it's a mistake concerning traveling to a new country. So if you're flying into a new country and you're going through passport control, or if you're going through a land border, going through passport control, make sure you have the address of your accommodation that you're staying at handy on you, because some countries will actually want to see the address of where you're staying at so that they can record the address in their system at the passport control. Now, for most countries I've been to, this doesn't happen. So places like Thailand, Brazil, they don't do this. But in Argentina and in Paraguay and also in Norway, it's very likely that they are actually going to ask you for the address that you're staying at so that they can record where you're staying. So do have that handy on you. It's just a pain in the backside again when you don't have that address and you've got to go on your phone and maybe ask for a Wi-Fi hotspot to get access to the internet so you can actually see the real address. Have that address handy on you, ready for when you go to passport control. And also just something else to bear in mind about going through borders. Do be aware that some countries may require you to fill out a form before you go to border control. For example, Chile want you to do this if you go through the Argentinian-Chile land border. So just be aware, sometimes if you're traveling on a bus to another country or if you're flying into another country, they may give you a form to fill out where you've got to provide all your details. So don't be intimidated by that. Some countries just make you fill out a form or an online form, especially as well Brazil. That's another country where they make you fill out a form before you enter the country. Now, moving on to mistake number 6 of traveling, and this is specifically about traveling by bus between different places and destinations. Using buses and coaches is very useful when traveling because many places don't have rail connections or flight connections, so you're kind of forced to travel between buses sometimes. But you do need to make sure that you know whether you need to print off your bus ticket if you did purchase the ticket online. Now, some countries, for example, some of the Balkan countries like Croatia, Bosnia, Serbia, when you purchase bus tickets online, they actually want you to print out the ticket, and just by having the ticket on your phone, on your email, they are not going to accept it. They're not going to be very happy. And Balkan bus drivers are just very, very grumpy, and you're going to make them even more grumpier if you don't have the printed ticket. So I would recommend wherever you go, actually print off the ticket if you do purchase it online. Now, for example, when I went to Cambodia, I didn't actually print off the ticket because the website did say that you can have the ticket on your phone, and they did allow the ticket on the phone. But I would say, to be honest, wherever you go, just print off your bus ticket if you do purchase it online, because you never know what the driver is or isn't going to accept. Now, actually, just sticking on the theme of bus travel, another kind of thing that I would recommend if you are traveling between destinations via bus, do have some local physical cash on you for that journey, because firstly, you may be charged to bring your luggage on board with you. So for example, again, going back to my Balkan example, if you are traveling between countries like Bosnia and Montenegro, it's very likely you're actually going to have to pay €1 or €2 to bring your suitcase into the luggage hold on the coach with you. So do have some local currency on you in case you are charged to bring luggage on board. This happened to me also in Argentina as well. So do make sure you have cash on you. And also sometimes you may actually be charged for someone to come and take your luggage outside of the coach when you have finished your journey. This happened to me when I arrived into Santiago, Chile. A guy was taking off everyone's luggage outside of the bus luggage hold, and he was demanding payment from everyone for doing so. So again, you just want to make sure you have some local currency on you just to pay off people if this does happen, because you don't want to be getting into any danger or any scraps, for example. Now, sticking on with this theme of currency and cash for mistake number 7. Mistake number 7 is to not have a mixture of cash and credit card on you when you are doing your day-to-day daily activities in a city abroad. Now, some of you may be wondering, why would you have to have both credit card and physical cash with you when you are out and about exploring a new city? Well, the thing is that some places only will accept physical cash payment. For example, many of the metro systems that I've traveled around, they will only accept cash payment at the machines, and also many street vendors and market stores will only accept cash. So it's really important that you do have a little bit of physical cash on you in the local currency currency, but also increasingly there are many places that only accept credit cards. So for example, when I went to Buenos Aires, Argentina, if you wanted to visit the Recoleta cemetery, you could only pay by credit card. You could not pay by physical Argentinian pesos. So unfortunately these days you just don't know whether you're going to have to use cash or whether you're going to have to use credit card, because some places only exclusively will accept either one of the two payment systems. So you just never know. So I do recommend having a little bit of cash on you in physical local currency and also credit card too. Obviously, if you are going to a more dangerous or a more unsafe city or country, do not be taking out lots and lots of local currency and keeping that in your pockets, because if you are in a place where robbery is more common, obviously you don't want to be losing all your money if something bad were to happen. So try and take out and have what you need for the day on you in your wallet or in your hidden money bag. So just take out what you need for the day and also have a credit card too, just in case you do need that. So moving on to mistake number 8 of traveling. Now I did mention a minute ago about some metro systems and some public transport systems where you can only pay by cash only. So kind of keeping on the theme of public transport, mistake 8 is getting rid of your public transport tickets before you have finished your journey. Now, this may seem like common sense for those of you who maybe live in London or Bangkok, for example, where if you do use the metro system or a public transport system, you need your ticket to go through the barriers at your exit destination, so you can't lose your ticket because obviously you're going to be in trouble, you're going to be stuck. But in some countries in Europe, you just purchase your ticket and you go through the barriers to enter into the station, and then when you arrive at your exit destination, you don't have to go through any barriers. So in theory, you could get rid of your ticket before you finish your journey, but regardless, do not get rid of your ticket, because for example in Budapest, it's very likely that actually when you arrive at your exit destination, you may be asked by one of the workers at that station to provide your ticket, even though you don't have to go through any physical barriers. So do not get rid of public transport tickets before you have finished your journey. Again, most people probably just think that's common sense, but maybe some people from more carefree countries may want to take note of that one. Now, moving on to mistake number 9. And mistake number 9 is not having travel insurance, especially if you are in a dangerous country. Now, look, I'm not going to lie. Many of the trips I have done, I have not taken out travel insurance. And I think most people, for most of their vacations and trips, don't take out travel insurance. But if you are going to a country that does have a reputation of being a bit more dangerous, maybe places in Latin America, maybe some places in Africa, yeah, it's important at least to consider getting some travel insurance, because you know, you could be robbed, dare I say, you could have your apartment broken into. You never know in these more volatile countries what could happen. So definitely consider getting travel insurance for countries with a bit more of a reputation. Now, if you are looking for a provider that I recommend Safety Wing. Again, the link to Safety Wing is below in both the description and the comment section. Safety Wing provide very affordable travel insurance, whether you're taking a vacation or whether you're a backpacker or whether you're a digital nomad. Safety Wing do offer good plans. Check them out below in the description. Their website is very easy to use. Their claims process is very simple. Everything's laid out very nicely on their website. So I do recommend Safety Wing. Do give them a little look if you do need to get yourself some insurance for any upcoming trip that you do have. So now then, moving on to mistake 10 of traveling, and this is kind of the final mistake I'm going to mention, apart from this bonus mistake at the end as well that I'll just touch on too just before we finish. But mistake 10 is not doing your research before you enter any establishment. I highly recommend, whether you're going into a restaurant, a cafe, a bar, a nightclub, a tour, just check Google reviews for everywhere you go. Now, this may seem like a pain in the backside. This may seem like a bit of hard work to do, especially if you're on a vacation, but I think it's really, really worth it. Just checking on Google reviews for a potential place that you're going to. Maybe you've seen an interesting looking restaurant or a bar that looks really cool. I would highly recommend just getting your phone out, checking Google reviews just to make sure that it's a decent reviewed place, because some places may look really nice and interesting and fun fun when you walk past them, but actually the reviews are absolutely rubbish and it's a dangerous place, or the food is really bad and it's all microwaved, or maybe it's a scam nightclub where tourists are robbed. It's really important that you do your research, just a little check on Google, just to make sure that if you do see a nice place when you walk down the street, actually checking on Google reviews whether it genuinely is a nice place or not. Again, it may seem tedious, but I actually think it's really worth it because it really will improve the experience of your trip or vacation. And also, if you are thinking about taking tours, or if you're at a place where you want to take a tour to somewhere, I highly recommend using Get Your Guide as the tool for booking your tours and checking the reviews of the tours. I use Get Your Guide when I book tours that I'm interested in taking. Again, Get Your Guide, the link is below. I put that link below again in the description in the comment section if you are interested in checking out tours for your upcoming trip. Now, moving on to this kind of bonus mistake that I wanted to mention. It's not really a mistake, but it's just more something to mention that's a bit miscellaneous compared with everything else I've talked about today. It's regarding eSIMs. Now, eSIMs have become really popular over the last few years because it does save you a lot of hassle. Basically, you can just go to an eSIM website, purchase an eSIM before you go to a new country, and you don't need to worry about getting physical SIM cards when you arrive in a new country for your devices because you've already purchased an eSIM already. And sometimes getting an eSIM is a really good and handy thing to do because it does save you a lot of time and effort trying to find a physical SIM shop. But be aware that eSIMs aren't always the best. A lot of these eSIM providers do use the worst networks in a country, and also a lot of the eSIM providers, their plans are more expensive than the actual physical SIM cards in the countries you're going to, because the physical SIM cards usually are cheaper, and usually a lot cheaper than the eSIM that you would have purchased online. So it's just a case of being aware that if you do purchase an eSIM, eSIMs will be more expensive than physical SIM cards in the country you're going to. So it depends on you whether you want ease of mind and whether you don't want any hassle trying to find a SIM card. If you don't want that hassle, then I do recommend getting an eSIM, and I recommend this website called Breeze eSIM. Again, I'll put the link below in the comment section in the description if you are interested. I've used them before. Their eSIMs work fine. So if you are interested and if you do want an eSIM for your upcoming trip, there is Breeze eSIM in the description below. But do be aware that, yeah, physical SIM cards generally work better and also are cheaper as well. But again, if you just don't want to go through that hassle of searching for a SIM, then you can use the eSIM that I put below in the description and the comment section. Now, again, as I said at the start of the video, do comment below and do let me know some of the mistakes that you have made during your travels. Again, it will be nice to hear some of your experiences. And I hope you have enjoyed today's video. Hope you found it useful. If you have, do remember to click the like button. It really does help out the video and it does make sure that other people get a chance to see this. Also, do hit the notification bell as well so that you get notified for all my latest videos, and do click subscribe for more of my travel content. So thank you very much for watching. I will see you in my next video.